Now we're going to use the skills that we've learned in previous lessons to help us graph. So we're going to look at slope and intercept, and we're going to use those tools to help us graph a line. So instead of just plotting random points or plugging in zeros, this is another method for graphing equations. So the first thing you want to do is graph what you know. The slope is not an actual location on the graph. It describes the line that you are graphing, or the slant of the line. So you can't quote-unquote graph the slope. We can, however, graph the y-intercept. That is a location. It's a spot on the graph. So 0, 2 is my y-intercept, so I'm going to put a dot there. And then I'm going to use my slope of 3 over 4. Now recall that slope is rise over run. It's the ratio. So my rise is 3. That means I have to go up 3, and my run is 4, so I have to go right 4. And I've got to do that from the point that I've graphed. Don't go back to your origin. We're sticking with the point that we've graphed. So from there I go up 3 and over 4. That's going to put me right here. So again, I went up 3 from my point, and I went right 4. And that gives me another point on my line, and then I can draw my line and put my arrows on the end. And there's my line. So I didn't have to do any work. I just used the information that I was given. I plotted my point, and then I used my slope to find another point on the line. So let's do this problem. We have 0, 4. So 0, 4. Oops. I keep getting random spots here. There we go. 0, 4. And now my slope this time is negative 2/3. Now they float that negative in the middle. You can put it with the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. If you put it with the top, then we have to go down 2 and right 3 and plot my other point. And then I can draw my line. Now you also could have put it on the denominator. You could have said 2 and then over negative 3, and if you did that, that's fine too, but then you would have had to go up 2 and left 3. So the negative can go on the numerator or the denominator, the rise or the run, but not both. Don't put it on both, because a negative over negative is a positive slope, and we definitely have a negative slope here. Okay, let's try this next one. We have 0, negative 5 is my intercept, so I'm going to graph that first. And then my slope is 3, which is 3 over 1 if I write it as a ratio. So I have to go up 3 and right 1. That 1's really important, so don't forget about it. So I go up 3 and over 1. Up 3 over 1, and then I can draw my line. And there's my line. Okay, so now they're actually giving us slope-intercept equations. So instead of just giving us the information, we have to pull the information from the graph. So if it's in slope-intercept form, then I know that my slope is always going to be in front of my x, and that my y-intercept is always by itself. So in this problem, my slope is negative 1/2, and my intercept is at 3. So if I graph my intercept, and then use my slope. So I would go down 1 and over 2. And now, oops, switch tools. And now I have my line. And this is my equation of the graph. So before, when we were doing these problems, we would actually plug numbers in for x and see what we get. Notice I didn't have to do any work. All the information I needed was in my equation. So let's do this one at the bottom. We have -2 is my y-intercept. My slope is -2/5. So I'm going to go down 2 and over 5. And that's going to give me another point on my line. And now graph. Put my arrows on the ends. And there's my line. Now here's an equation. They still want us to graph, but it's not in slope-intercept form, so I can't pull any information from it. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is write it in slope-intercept form. So I have to transform 2x minus y equals 1 into y equals, so then I can pull the information from it. So I'm going to move my x term. I'm just treating it like a formula, solving for y. So I have -y equals -2x plus 1. I can write 1 minus 2x, or I can write -2x plus 1. Since I'm going for slope-intercept form and my x term comes first, that's why I decided to put my x term first. Now I'm going to have to divide everything by -1, because we don't want negative y, we want positive y. And dividing by negative is simply going to change all my signs. So I have a positive y, a positive 2x, and a -1. Now I can identify the information. My slope is 2, or 2 over 1, and my intercept is -1. So now I can plot my points. I can use my slope. I can go up 2 and over 1, plot another point, and draw my line. And there is my graph of 2x minus y equals 1.